Hello everyone, it's Melanie. Welcome to my messy space this morning. I woke up with an idea and then before I got out of bed, I looked on Instagram and I saw something that gave me another idea. So I've been in here this morning working on this. So I hope you guys are doing well, and I'll show you what I was working on. So I've been saving. I save softback book covers like this from this one I've had for a long time. Kids books that I, repurpose and things like that. From composition books. I've got tons of them where I took the paper out of the composition books. I even have this one that I woke up this morning and thought of this idea. This one is huge, and I'm kind of thinking this one would be really cool to do something with too. So, I got this one the other day. So what I was thinking when I woke up, I've been watching a lot of Rachel Roxy Creations. I've been watching a lot of her collage videos, and so I thought, I could make little folios out of these covers. I could cut them and make small little folios out of these book covers. And then I saw Robin Marie Smith has a course right now called Booklets of Bundles of Joy or something like that. But she's making little bitty booklets, and hers are not necessarily, I didn't see any journaling spaces or anything in them. But this is what I kind of whipped up this morning. And then as I was doing it, other things kind of occurred to me and came to me. And then I know this is not an original idea, but everything that we see just becomes part of our, part of our consciousness, and we just kind of build on it and take it. And anyway, this is what I made this morning. I wanted to walk you through it, but then I thought, you know what? I've made something like this before. So I went to one of my boxes of journals, and I found this. So this is a piece of large watercolor paper, and then it's folded in 4 pieces, folded in 4 sections. And it has things, little kind of like signature things of stuff sewn into it. And I thought that I did make this one from like a workshop or something. And as I was flipping through it, I found this page. So this says June 2nd, 2014. And it says here, I bought a Robin Marie Smith online workshop and made this journal. So I made this journal on June 2nd, 2014. So, this is the kind of thing that, I made this, whatever that is, 5 years ago or whatever. And then having done that definitely influenced the making of this little thing. And then I also found this one that I made, and this was the same era. And I think, if I remember correctly, which I don't know about that because my memory doesn't seem to be that great, but after making this, I experimented with stuff on my own, and this is a file folder. This is actually a file folder. So after making this one, I kind of experimented and came up with this version. This looks like I actually sewed the pages, machine stitched the pages in, and it's full of tags and stamping. But this is the same era. This is 2014, same era as this one. And then this one is this morning. So what I was thinking, because I bought this book the other day and I took the pages out, but it's such a pretty cover. So what I'm kind of thinking is I can take this cover and fold the pages in like this, fold the covers in, And I'm leaving a little room here because once you don't want to fold it all the way to the inside. You don't want to fold it all the way to that crease. You want to fold it, leave some space in there. Kind of make sure it's even. So there's just, I mean, there's all kinds of things that you could do with this, or where you could take it. And then there's some things that I realized making this one this morning, because I made this one and I collaged both sides of the entire thing, and then I stitched the pockets on. So there's a lot of collage underneath these pockets, a bunch of bulk down in there that I didn't need, of stuff that I completely covered up. And so if I'm gonna put pockets on a page, I need to remember there's no need to collage down here underneath where the pockets are gonna go, because it's just gonna add bulk and stuff. And what I think I'm really rambling, but so what I put in these was just like some journaling spots, just some journaling cards. That's a Project Life card with some ribbon, and that's just a piece of cardstock. Some pieces of lined paper, and then I actually put this, I found this piece of pearlescent paper that I put in there because I didn't think this paper would be strong enough to stitch it in directly. And then this one, I just put one of my library cards in there. So, oh, and on this one I made a little half pocket, and it just has a little craft paper tablet thing to stick in the corner there. And then for the closure, I used an elastic, some elastic that I put over. And this is actually, this is made out of the top half of this book. This is a book I bought the other day. So this is the top of this quilting book. So this is kind of what I was thinking. So if I'm going to do this one, and I'm noticing on this cover it's a little bit more fragile. So I could also, if I wanted to, I could stitch, maybe once I collage the cover, I could stitch some strips of fabric over these seams just to make them a little stronger. So I'm gonna put these away, and we'll work on kind of collaging one of these and see what we come up with. So for this collage, I actually used my scrap bin. This is literally just scraps of paper, and it's not my collage, you know, neutral tone stuff. That I keep kind of separate. This is book text and things like that. This is more other paper scraps. There's wallpaper, there's green stamps, there's tissue paper, there's cut up envelopes. There is some book text in here and cut-offs. That's a piece of a sack. That kind of, I think that's tracing paper. So anyway, this is where I was going for my collage stuff, because I thought I don't want to use anything new. Since I'm reusing the book cover, I thought I would just use scraps to do the collage. And I really like this cover itself. I'm going to start with this though, because I like that. I'll put the whole thing. So I've also been working on, I made some little golden book journals. I was experimenting with something, trying to do something a little different that appealed to me, that wanted to make it with a soft spine. and I figured out how I can do it. The only problem is it requires me to sew through bookboard on my good sewing machine. So I don't know if that's a good idea or not long term for the health of my machine, but I'm having fun with it right now. So I don't know, collaging this, it doesn't necessarily, like, parts of it I don't really even want to cover, because I think the drawings on this book cover are so cute. So I need to make another video. I need to make a video and show you guys my journal, my little golden book journals. And I am going to put them in my Etsy shop. I've just been doing my regular procrastination thing with that because of the part that I dread, which is taking the pictures and all that. Put some Scantron. Oh, I shouldn't have. And then I'll leave that. The other thing I need to remember is not to collage down here too heavily. So I think maybe I'll just put this right here. If I'm going to put a pocket there, which I don't necessarily have to put a pocket right there. Because you could do whatever. You could do pocket, you could do stitch some paper on. There's lots of... Now I'm all sticky. So let's see. Do we want to cover up the Rainbow Island? I kind of like this on there. I also brought a tray table into this room. I brought one of my sewing tray tables that I use for pressing, and I put my sewing machine on it and moved it off of my work table here. So now it's over here on my right on a separate table, which the table's kind of in the way, but it cleared up a whole lot of room on one side for me to use. So I'm kind of liking that. Okay, more scraps. I'm just gonna grab some out. And I'm trying not to get it too thick. I'm not sure why. I mean, I don't think it would matter, but this, I put one of those, that's from a needlework book, but I put one of those as a pocket in the other journal. I've got just some bits and pieces of stuff. I'm not grabbing things with any sort of plan. I'm just kind of grabbing things that aren't too thick that might have kind of worked together. Okay, let me see what I can do with this. So I think I'll do 4 pockets. But I don't necessarily have to do pockets that go all the way across, because I did these kind of horizontal pockets on this one, but then I thought, oh, I want to put one of the, because I'm in love with these, just doing a corner pocket like that. So I could just do corner pockets across here, do 4 of those. I think, honestly, that would be better, because then you can still see what's behind it. You can still see kind of what you put in it. And it's not as hard to get something in and out of one of these pockets. So let's see. I'll do my cover first. I kind of don't want to cover that up. If I don't want to cover it, I don't have to. This is printed on cardstock. This is one of my patchwork printables, but it's on cardstock, and it's kind of too heavy for this. So I was going to see if I could pull this cardstock apart. Or I could just get a different piece of paper. Some cardstock comes apart better than others. That's not too bad, because I'll go with that. Now I keep losing everything. Kind of reminds me of a napkin where it tore really thin right there. Let's see what else. Some map. I like that rainbow right there. Sorry guys, this video, I've made quite a few videos in the past week, but I don't end up publishing any of them because this same thing seems to keep happening. I get in the groove and then I'm not saying anything. I'm not talking. Sometimes it's hard to make conversation. I don't know what to talk about. This is origami paper. So what I did on the other folder after I got the collage done was I just put some acrylic paint over some of it to kind of tie it all together and sort of mute the colors a little bit. So that's probably what I'll do on this one too. So See, this is just white acrylic, and then here on the inside I used some beigey colored acrylic just to sort of grunge it up, give it some continuity, that kind of thing. There's not much excitement going on there. Put something there. Oh, I know. Let's see. So I went to the flea market. I went to a flea market this weekend. We used to have a place where they had a flea market every weekend in our stock, kind of like our stockyards area, the place where they have all the stock shows and rodeos and things like that. And the city moved the flea market out, and I don't think this other place that they moved is not owned by the city. I think maybe some of the flea market owners went in and leased a place, but they, the people who have the booths at the flea markets, but they moved to this strip center, like this indoor facility, and I went over there for the first time this weekend with my husband and daughter, and I got some good stuff. And it was really fun because it was flea market prices, not, you know, antique mall prices. I mean, it was even better than thrift store prices. So I got some great doilies, and I got some a quilt. Got a lot of good stuff. But that's where all these letters came from. I got a bunch of really old letters, and so I just took pieces of them and put them together to use as this for collage, because I thought the handwriting on some of them is really amazing. And it says "Write me." I like that right there. A couple of the letters, I mean, one's from 1915, but one was written on stationery from the USS Bunker Hill aircraft carrier in 1945. And so I looked up, you know, I read the letter. So the man's writing home about what he's doing, and he's saying that he's going to get dropped off in Pearl Harbor, or he hopes he's going to get dropped off in Pearl. Once he says Pearl Harbor, and then he just calls it Pearl from there on out. And I think that's interesting because my grandfather was stationed at the Army barracks at Pearl Harbor. There's an Army barracks, which is the ground, which is where the ground troops for that base area were, and it's not far. It's just not far from the harbor, just inland a little bit. But they were also bombed and attacked during Pearl Harbor. We don't hear much about it, but he was there. So Pearl Harbor has always been interesting to me because I was fortunate enough to get to hear my grandfather talk about Pearl Harbor and what that experience was like. He said at first they thought that it was practice drills, because they used to do practice drills and they would drop flour sacks, like big bags of flour or something, to do practice bombing runs. And he said that at first, that morning, that's what they all thought it was. They thought it was someone was doing practice drills and dropping flour sacks. But then they quickly realized that it wasn't flour. Anyway, so the guy on the bunker, on the aircraft carrier, then I learned online, I don't know if he got dropped off in Pearl Harbor or not, but the letter was written in May of 1949, and then later that fall, like in September, I think. Now I can't remember when exactly it was. That ship was sent over near Okinawa, and that aircraft carrier, and they were hit by 2 kamikaze pilots, and it was one of the largest death tolls on a carrier of the war. So many men were killed. Something like 390 men were killed. So it's like I read this letter and it's just, I mean, it's history, you know? So I scanned them, and then I have a notebook that I put them in sleeves to try to preserve them. I don't know what my daughter's going to do with all this stuff one day, but maybe she won't throw it all away. Kind of feel bad for her. We only have one. Oh, that's already right there. I guess it's okay. Only have one child, so she's going to have a lot of stuff to figure out what to do with it. Okay, so I think I'm going to put a pocket here, and I'm going to put a pocket here. So I will put something else just right there. And I was trying to just use scraps. Let's see. Just do that. So I was thinking to myself, oh yes, this would be a great way to use both these book covers and a bunch of my scraps, and then I take a look at stuff and I'm like, oh my goodness, I could be making these little folios till the cows come home, and I won't have made a dent in my scraps. Okay, so that'll have a pocket. I don't like that straight line though now. Ooh, well, I guess that's what happens when you try to tear something after you glue it. Oh, I'm not even on screen. Okay, well, that's better. I think I'll put some paint or something over it so it'll kind of get hidden anyway. And then when I put a pocket, that straight line. There. That's better. So that page is done. I'm gonna say, oh look, it says Saver folder. That's cool. I'll probably put a label or something on here on the front. And I kind of want to leave this because I really like so I think the outside of this I think that's gonna be done. And then I'm gonna put, I'll put a pocket going this way and this way. And then on the inside, I'll do a pocket going this way, and then one this way, this way. That way I can still see this guy, but I think I'm gonna put something here, something brighter. Need something colorful. there's some. Oh, I like this. This is one of my prints. Do I want to do his head like that, or do I want to? Could tear this around like that. His, I don't know if that's a him or a her, but okay, I like that. I like not having my sewing machine right here. I've got so much more elbow room. Oh, something else I noticed when you're collaging like this is make sure that you fold it every once in a while, because the creases will tend to get kind of bulky. So it seems to help if you fold it every once in a while. Make sure keeping your creases in there. There's another map. Do I like that side better with the blue on it? I think I do. And I think with this one, I think I will do a little more painting on it. Maybe a little more decorative kind of stuff. Oh, that's cool. I can do this whole side here. Maybe some book text. I like that too. I've had so much. It's gonna go that way. I've had the books that I've been buying at the Dollar Tree to use as, you know, glue books or repurpose the covers. I've had so many issues with, I'm using it and then I see something that profanity or bad language that's on the page that I didn't notice. So I bought, this is a, let's see, it's a book, it's a little novel, paperback novel from, oh here it is, from the 50s. Jenny's Babysitting Business. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna use this instead because I don't think it's gonna have any profanity in it. Plus, look how cute these illustrations are. Oh, love that. Yeah, I think I'll just trim it off. Oh, I have it on that side and that side. So you know what I think I'm gonna do, guys? I usually don't do this, but maybe I need to. So I started this cover. I'm already at 34 minutes. Maybe I need to start working in parts. So I think I'm gonna get this cover kind of to a stopping point, and then I can finish it up. Finish up the cover in the next video. That almost needs to be like I'm gonna round that corner there. That'll help finish it. 'Cause these corners need to be oh, that's actually the book cover that's splitting. Do I want to put some of this in there? See, this pocket's going to go that way. Oh, I should have just put that whole page there. I'll just save it for something else. I like that there. Across there. Maybe some of this. I like scrapping with my, or scrapping, collaging with my scraps. It's because I feel good, like I'm you know, working my scrap bin down. Get rid of some of this stuff. What was I? Oh, I was going to put this there. I kind of like that there, though. Like that peeking out. Yeah, I like that better. Put down there. So the only part of this that's not scraps is this printable that I did out of those letters, those vintage letters. But that's all right. Okay, I like that a lot better. So I think the best way to do this is just going to be put the glue down first, and then I'll put the doily on top. I got the whole thing. So I'll have to wait for this to dry anyway before I sew it, because I don't want to get my machine sticky. So I'll wait for this to dry, and then I'll probably do some painting on it, and then in the next video I can put some pockets and painting and that kind of thing. So join me in the next video if you want to see where this goes. And you guys have a great week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.